Welcome to the We Are Wake Tech podcast with your host, Wake Tech President, Dr. Scott Rawls.
Hello, I'm Scott Rawls, host of the We Are Wake Tech podcast. And this is an exciting month at Wake Tech as we just this week had our big ribbon cutting for our Hendricks Center for Automotive Excellence. Automotive is all around us and lots of big things happening, and particularly here at Wake Tech with this amazing new facility for training, the latest state-of-the-art training in automotive systems technology and everything related to automotive. And today we have joining us Dave Faber, the Dean of Transportation at Wake Tech, who leads all things related to transportation here at Wake Tech, including the Hendricks Center for Automotive Excellence that we just announced the big ribbon cutting this week. Dave, welcome first to Wake Tech because you're still relatively new, but particularly welcome to today's podcast.
Well, thank you, Scott. Like I said, I'm Dave Faber. I'm the Dean of Transportation here at Wake Tech. I started my career, I was in the military for about 24 years. I was active duty, reserve, National Guard, and a civilian. At the end of my career, I became an instructor where I taught initial entry soldiers, soldiers changing their jobs, and advanced classes. A position opened up at another community college to start an automotive program, and I transitioned into higher ed back about 14 years ago. I've loved it ever since. I've moved up through different positions, and when Wake Tech opened a brand new Hendricks Center, it's a no-brainer to come here. It's a wonderful, state-of-the-art facility. You have world-class instructors, you have world-class equipment here. And so I've been here a little over a year. The center's open now for about 8 months. And it's just been a wonderful time. I'm excited every day that I wake up, and it's great to be in the front of the innovation.
Well, we're excited to have you. It's an amazing place, the Hendricks Center for Automotive Excellence. And for our listeners in just a second, maybe we'll walk them through and tell them what makes it so unique. But I frequently like to say that it's the people that make the place. And without just amazing people and amazing leadership, it doesn't matter what our facility's like, even when they can be the best in the country, like the Hendricks Center. So we're just even more excited that you're here, as we are to have this amazing facility, because you represent the best of what's in community colleges, having grown up through us, but also bringing all that external expertise. And I also might note Dave he's a real national leader, particularly in the future. He had a big role in starting some unique new programs. Yeah, before we move on, talk about some of the things you've accomplished. I know you were one of the first to develop the Tesla program, and so there were many things that were key reasons why we were fortunate to have you in this role.
Right, that's like I said, the Tesla Start program was a collaboration with another community college and Tesla to start a training program because there isn't an electric vehicle pathway set up in the community colleges yet. And they needed to train technicians that, respect electricity but weren't afraid of it. And all the new innovations coming, there's autonomous cars, self-driving cars, and our curriculum hadn't caught up with that yet. So we started a brand new program with that. We also started a program with Cummins called TAP, which is Technician Apprentice Program. It was the first diesel program for apprentices. That was a national program. And it's same thing. There's a shortage of technicians, both automotive, heavy equipment, and collision. There's a huge need in the industry out there. And so some of the programs help to bring innovation and students that have a pipeline for a great career out in the environment. So it's been an exciting ride so far, but I'm looking to the future.
Well, as we talk, we'll probably wrap up with a little future talk. It's not just future because it's happening here at Wake Tech now, the focus on electric, the big focus on apprenticeship. That's a major part of automotive. We'll talk about that maybe as we get to the end. But as we kind of gear up here, notice I said gear up here where we're talking about automotive. As we gear up today's conversation, let's talk a little bit, give folks a visual if you can, because many are listening to this and you can't see the Hendricks Center where you are right now. But the Hendricks Center for Automotive Excellence, named for a significant donor and supporter of Wake Tech, who is well known in the automotive industry, an icon of automotive, both in racing and in terms of the dealerships and his involvement. Rick Hendrick, who is such an icon in North Carolina, but an icon worldwide when it comes to automotive. And we name it the Hendrick Center of Automotive Excellence because of his significant philanthropy to support the programs here at Wake Tech through the now Hendrick Center for Automotive Excellence, and the partnerships he brings to us because of who he is. And so what is it from your perspective, Dave, because you probably can see it unlike anybody else coming from where you are, what makes this facility and what makes the Hendrick Center such a unique place at this time?
It's a kind of a threefold. We count the faculty and the students coming in, but for the industry support, I'll go with a twofold model where we have manufacturers that General Motors, Ford, Toyota, Subaru, Mercedes, and Audi that have donated equipment to us. They've allowed us to use all their resources, their software. They've given us diagnostic equipment to work specifically on their vehicles. So we have the latest and the greatest equipment. And then saying that, we've had the partnerships like with Hendricks, we have Capital Automotive, Leith, to name a few, the independent garage owners. They've all started apprentice programs with us and allow our students to go to work-based learning. And work-based learning is where we take one of our labs out and allow a student to go to work in a real life experience as opposed to doing a lab with us, and we give them the college credit for it. When they go to work, they have a mentor. So instead of taking breaks off on our vehicles every day, they're on the industry with a mentor, being real life experience and taking breaks on and off, and they get credit for it. So it works well for everybody. Our partners help develop the student into a world-class technician at the end of the day, and they get about 70% of all dealership certifications as they go through our program. So it's a win-win for everybody.
Well, and you certainly in 1 year, it's been amazing what you've been able to accomplish, and with the support of just these tremendous partners. And one of the things that I think is unique, if the listeners, if you have not been to our northern campus, first come to our northern campus. It's pretty unique. It's a unique looking campus. It was the first totally LEED certified campus of college campus in the United States, very futuristic campus. But now, centerpiece on the campus is this remarkable facility, the Hendrick Center for Automotive Excellence. If you stand back and look at it, you can see that it's designed to look like a very almost sleek automobile by Gensler, the architects who designed it. And it's a remarkable building. It must be a great place to come to work every day, and particularly the goal is a great place to come to school because it certainly looks like the future of automotive technology when you are inside it and outside of it.
Right, and absolutely, that's one of the few complaints that we've got from the dealerships, that it's so nice that our students don't want to leave and go to work for them. And they've thought of everything. They have observation windows. It's a 3-story building. On the second floor, there's observation rooms so you can see everybody in the lab downstairs working. All the classrooms, same thing, are open through glass on the outside where you can see what the students are doing, how they're learning, how they're participating with it. And it's full glass. It's amazing. Just I could stare out the window all day, except I probably won't have a job at the end of the day. But it's a beautiful building.
It's a showplace of automotive for collision repair and automotive system technologies. And before we kind of dig into the programmatic aspects a little bit more, I do want to mention again just the significant corporate and business support, community support that's led to this facility. This facility came about thanks to the Wake County residents who support Wake Tech through the significant bonds that were passed 4 years ago. And this is one of the facilities, one of the great workforce facilities that came about as a result of that funding to train the automotive technicians of the future, but also the corporate support. We mentioned Rick Hendrick, for which the facility is named. Also want to do shout outs to the others, particularly Capital Automotive, the Capital Automotive Group, and Tim Michael, who supported with a significant donation the automotive systems labs in the facility. We have great support from Advanced Auto, who has Advanced Auto Foundation, who has really stepped up to support the growth of the program, the advertising of the program, scholarships for Wake students. So certainly Advanced Auto Care, we thank so much. Exalta supporting the paint labs, part of the collision repair that is so significant. Did I leave anybody out there, Dave? Who else do we got in there?
We have a lot, but those are the four major ones. And the benefit is, I'll use Exalta, where the state-of-the-art paint mixing rooms, and they have mixers, and you can color code any color that the factory makes. That Exalta's come in and actually made sure we're upfitted with everything we need to be a state-of-the-art paint facility. So when somebody goes out to work, they see what they actually is in the industry. The same as, Hendrix.
Yeah.
Advanced Auto Parts is giving us the opportunity to provide tools for our engine labs, so our students don't have to buy tools their first. The benefit is, I'll use Exalta, where the state-of-the-art paint mixing rooms, and they have mixers, and you can color code any color that the factory makes. That Exalta's come in and actually made sure we're upfitted with everything we need to be a state-of-the-art paint facility. So when somebody goes out to work, they see what they actually is in the industry. The same as, Hendrix.
Yeah.
Advanced Auto Parts is giving us the opportunity to provide tools for our engine labs, so our students don't have to buy tools their first year.
Yeah, in fact, Advanced Auto Parts, if you see the tool labs, they're all decorated as Advanced Auto Parts. And then one's a diehard because that's an Advanced Auto Parts battery. So the Advanced Auto Parts Foundation is, you see it throughout the building because of their support.
Yeah, the checkerboard leads right to the tool rooms. And
yeah. It's very cool.
It is. And they, like I said, the students get the right tool to do the right job. They're not putting pliers on bolts. They have the right size wrenches, the right size tools for everything to train them the right way. So when they go out in the industry, they are a true technician. They understand how to truly fix someone. We start out with the principles and fundamentals, then we show them how it works, and we let them do it by themselves, and then we reinforce what they've been taught. And it's all around, with all the support, it made it where we can have the latest equipment, the latest technology, and great students.
And one collective group we want to give a big shout out to, because if it wasn't for their support and their advocacy for this work, and the need to hire more great folks from Wake County, is the Wake County New Vehicle Dealers. And that includes groups that have given individual support, like Hendrick, like Capital, like Crossroads and Leith. But it's the collective group of vehicle dealers throughout this area who while they compete tooth and nail day in and day out, they work with us as a great group of collective employers to help foster the growth of the employment of the automotive technicians of the future. And so we're so appreciative to all the great auto dealers and automotive folks. And one particular individual I do want to call out to before we move on is an individual named Rick Gerlinger, who has just been, Rick is everything cars. He had such an amazing career with the automotive aftermarket, and has really been, if any individual who's championed us in the growth of this program, Rick champions us every day and supports and finds more ways to bring the industry and the Wake Tech connection together. So we've kind of mentioned a lot of important industry players. Anytime you have something like this, you do not get that far unless you have that type of employer-based support. But let's talk about where we are and where we're moving. So I think one of the things that is a key for this new facility opportunity is the growth of a program. And so if you were looking at Wake Tech Automotive Program, which has been a great automotive program for years, we have a history and a legacy, but it was based in our southern campus and a facility that still exists. We still will have some automotive there, but we'll be able to do more on that campus with our heavy equipment programs, which also fall under Dave. But by moving into the Hendrix Center, our goal has always been to double the size of that program, because frequently in years past, we've had twice as many applicants to come into the program as we've had capacity to take. And so now moving to a place where students don't have to go on a wait list and employers don't have to wait as long to get the skilled technicians that they're looking for. So Dave, talk a little bit about sometimes you keep adding numbers to me, so you find strategies to grow even bigger than I anticipated a few years ago.
Well, that's let's say we want to grow. We want to have a sustained growth, and do it strategically as we look through. And initially, with the building opening up and facilities, prior to last year in the South Campus, we'd run 2 to 3 cohorts of students through our program. In August, the first set of freshman students coming into our program, we've actually started 7 cohorts. We've been building up our faculty, we've been building up our training. Well, right now we have 7 cohorts that started last August. This August, we're going to look to start another 7 cohorts. And hopefully in the next year after that, we could go to 8, then to 9, to 10, and just keep growing it. The same as collision repair. We just started that program in January. We had a couple little snags, but we got everything going. So we started the first cohort, and we limited it to 10 students because it was a new program.
First start mid-year. Yeah.
Right, and make sure we had enough equipment and supplies and everything as we move forward. But in the fall, we're looking to start one section of 16 students. And the next year, we're looking to double that and eventually have 3 cohorts of collision repair students. We're looking to have 10 cohorts of automotive students as, in the next, probably in 5 years, I think we can reach that goal.
Yeah, you kind of slipped the other day and gave me a number, which I'm not going to hold you to. It's a little bigger than we had thought, but I am going to remember it since you said it, because I think you said we may be able to reach a point of 400 automotive students at Wake Tech at some point, thanks to this. Is that what I heard?
I said transportation students. So
transportation. Okay.
Yeah, well, we look collision in there also.
All right. Yeah, you hedging just a little on me, but anyway, it's significant growth opportunity as a result of the facilities and the commitment of our college to adding our faculty and adding our staff to move forward. Now, let's talk just a little bit about how things have changed too, how things are a little bit unique. And you mentioned as you started the manufacturing partnerships, it's kind of the OEM partnerships, and that's something that's emerged more and more. And you've in 1 year done an amazing job. We now have 6 manufacturing partners, and what that means is the students are in very specific programs related to those specific types of cars, right?
Correct.
So talk through that and who those partners are, if you will.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I'll start with we had the 6 partners. GM is our first one, and the difference, you have a 2-year automotive degree, AAS degree, but for General Motors, we have 8 GM engines they'll take part, the transmissions, the cars they work on, and we have all their software. So the GM students are cohort together. They come to school for the first 8 weeks, and part of their program is they have to go to work full time for a dealership the second 8 weeks. Then they come back the next 8 weeks, and we teach different processes. So the first class they have is engines, and they learn how to change tires, change oil, do normal servicing. They go to work, they do it, they come back. Second semester, they're learning brakes and steering and suspension. Ford had wanted a different model where they come to school for Monday and Tuesday, and they go to work Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. With each one of the programs, work-based learning is required from them. If they don't have the job, we put them in a general program. They still continue on with their degree, but they don't stay in the Ford program. So the Ford program, they come to school Monday, Tuesday, they work the rest of the week. Toyota wanted the students in the afternoon. So for the Toyota program, they go to school in the morning, they go to work in the afternoon. Mercedes dealers wanted some students for the morning, so they take class in the afternoon and they work in the morning. And then we have 2 sets of general programs, one's in the morning, one's in the afternoon, to catch the students. And then every January, we'll start another cohort in case somebody would drop out or fall behind or miss a class. So they don't have to wait a year to start again. There's always a way to catch them and keep them progressing through the programs. And the good thing is if they start in GM, they decide they don't really want to stay in the GM program. The general program's always there to get them through and get their degree at the end. And, they can work in GM, they have to work for GM, but the general program, they can work for whoever they want to work for.
And the other 2, right, are Subaru and Audi. Is that right?
Audi, Subaru and Audi. Yeah.
Okay. So the 6, again, General Motors, Ford, Mercedes, Toyota, Subaru and Audi are the 6 that we have the partnerships with at this point. We may add a few more.
Right.
Can't add too many more, but add a few more. But I think one of the things that is probably greatly underappreciated by folks is the complexity of accomplishing what is really this learn and earn model that exists and has evolved. But I think this is the great thing about community colleges, and particularly Wake Tech in some areas where you see this model evolving, where students work and with their employers and go to school at the same time, which means that scheduling is not like your average university where you just pick when you want to go to class and you show up, students pick and say, hey, I want to sleep in all morning and then I'll and take Fridays off. In these programs, the employers pretty much say, we're going to hire the students, we're going to support them so they can work with us, but then they're going to go to school. But what the Wake Tech faculty have to do is make sure the scheduling works so that students can work and go to school in this great model. And to me, that's a real differentiator for who we are. And I just really commend you and the faculty for how you make this work in the partnership with these great employers.
It's an amazing faculty and staff here. That's what I tell people all the time, that they do all the work and I get to take the credit for what they've done. Yeah, because they're getting the students through, they're learning. And the good thing is that the students we send out are producing for the employers. So they come back and say, we want more students, we want more students. And I know you like numbers a little bit. I'll tell you the first year out of the classes, and work-based learning was the first time we've integrated work-based learning into the program in August. We have 33 students each semester have been in work-based learning, and we have 24 apprentices on top of that. So they're all in the earn while you learn type of program.
So let's distinguish that too, because that's another nuance that can get lost that's so important in this kind of work-based education model. So when we say work-based learning, it's essentially what some have referred to in the past as co-op. It really means that you're getting some course credit while you're out there being mentored in the workplace. But the gold standard of work-based learning is something that's of major emphasis at Wake Tech through a program we have called Wake Works, which is apprenticeship. And that seems to be the model that really seems to be catching some fire with automotive, where students, correct me if I'm wrong, but essentially getting employed in their first semester as apprentices under the registered apprenticeship model, and then pick up this mix of employment and work through this period of time, all the while being a paid apprentice.
That's correct. And so one of the distinguishes, they start out, and they also have a PreApprentice program, which we're starting to develop as we speak. But when they start the apprentice program, they're working right away, and they're going to school at the same time. It's a Department of Labor registered apprentice program, and the state also has the registered apprentice program. Work-based learning comes in play where some of the dealerships and the independent garages don't want to follow the strict DOL guidelines that they have. So work-based learning gives them opportunity to work while they're going to school, and it's not quite as a constrained.
They're just not formally registered apprentice, but it's a very similar type model.
Correct.
Students it's almost like a paid internship model.
Right.
Yeah.
And or if they start the second, they don't have an employment the first semester, and they want to start the second semester, we want them to be able to work while they're going to school, but it's too late. It's too late to join the apprentice program, because that's a 2-year hybrid going to college, and they'd have to extend the college for it. So work-based learning gives them the same opportunity without being in a registered program because of the time constraints.
Yeah. And you kind of threw it out there because you talk about the pre-apprenticeship, which is a major kind of part of our programming here of, we like to say laddering at Wake Tech. So ladder programs where you can start out in a short-term training program, get the skills you need. And for us, those kind of what we may call foothold non-degree programs, the best type are those that give you a foothold into the workplace, but then give you a foothold with credit towards a degree. And a triple foothold is when they are pre-apprenticeship into an apprenticeship program, meaning they're the starting point for folks. So tell us, you kind of threw pre-apprenticeship out there. Where are you going?
Well, this summer we're going to do our first forte into the waters, I guess, of the pre-apprentice program. Well, we set up a program with our continuing education department where where you learn how to change oil, change tires, the basic maintenance and light repair skills. It's MLR, but the basic maintenance and light repair skills. And at the end of the semester, you get a certificate, and you can go to work. And you can be on the tire rack, the lube rack. Just initially. We also have a curriculum class called TRN 110 and 170 that if you continue on in the program, you get credit for it. So you can either go into the workforce, or you can continue on with your 2-year degree and, like I say, become an apprentice from there if you want to, or like say it's a pathway off to work. You can work a few years, get your life settled where you want to, and then come back to school 2 years later, and you still get the credit for the classes, and you've already started the journey to the 2-year degree. I know we'll talk about the pathways to 4-year degrees in a little bit, but this is continuing ed to job, entry-level job, or into a 2-year pathway to get your associate's degree.
So it's a short term, less than less than a semester worth of time. It's a shorter term, get a start into, maintenance and light repair, come back into potentially into the longer term degree programs. And let's talk then about those degree programs, because there's really two big differentiators in those programs, right? Automotive systems and collision repair. Am I right?
Correct.
Well, tell us the difference then. What's the difference between the two?
The difference is in automotive, you start out, you take engines, electrical, brakes, suspension, diagnostics, advanced electrical, advanced diagnostic, manual transmissions, and automatic transmissions. And so you learn how to repair and diagnose all the components on a car. In collision repair, you start out with structural damage, non-structural, estimating, paint, and special finishes. So you learn how to repair all of the different panels on a vehicle, but you're not diagnosing problems or really fixing the problem. You're fixing the car that's been damaged. A few of the classes transition back and forth between the degrees, but the collision is when the car is dented. Automotive is when the car won't start in the morning.
There you go. Well, hey, that's a good way of thinking about it. Now let's keep digging into that just a little bit more, because I mean, either program is so much more high tech than people would imagine and has ever been. In the old days in community colleges, we often called collision repair auto body. And auto body was painting and getting dents out. But what's happened now is there's no such thing as an inexpensive collision anymore, I don't think, because there's so many sensors and parts tied into the exterior of the car. And one of the things that we see is in this new world of collision repair and the material science and everything and sensors that go into it, these jobs are incredibly high paying.
Correct. It's in both industries, but it's a great career. It's a great life. And expand a little bit on it, there's a machine called ADAS that does the sensors, and anytime a window gets replaced, a bumper gets hit, or on your cars, the adaptive cruise control, the lane assist, all the predictive type of sensors that lead into the computer have to be diagnosed, fixed, and repaired. And we're the first community college, and we're the first actually organization in North Carolina to get an ADAS machine and be able to teach on it. And just to let you know that Hunter's going to be coming next month to train technicians on how to repair it with the equipment that we have.
Oh, terrific.
Set up classes. So we're
at the front. Yeah,
we're in the very front in innovation, and like I said, our instructors are being trained up on it also. Our faculty are developing, and we'll be in the forefront of collision repair and automotive. And some of the manufacturers have talked to us about, well, we're starting to implement the ADAS and the type of sensors into collision repair into automotive, and having a class that transitions both collision repair and automotive. So a student can take, it can be a collision student or an automotive student, because what the sensor does matters to both of them, how to repair it, how to calibrate it, how to diagnose it. So.
Yeah. And so collision repair being, one part of it, a different program area, but, the automotive, program. So the program where you're talking about where your car won't start, not where you get a bump in your car or whatever, but where the car won't start. I mean, when I look out those, big windows where you can watch the floor, I see students rolling around with laptops. So these are, in the old days, we used to think about, folks, bent over inside a hood, which, still happens. You have to get under the hood, but, they're rolling around with their own laptops from place to place. So what's happened with all that?
The technology in it every year just gets, improves or expands. Right now, the newer cars can diagnose themselves, and they send a thing to your iPhone or your Android phone to say that you have a problem. And they'll tell the dealership that you're coming in and this is what's happened.
Yeah.
And the technician gets fed all that information, and it's almost, to use Elon Musk, he says it's actually an iPad on roller skates now is what the car. Before you'd step on your gas pedal, there'd be linkage to go to a throttle. Now it's all computer controlled, and it's by radio waves, UHF, VHF, programming in the cars. General Motors is going to come out next year where they have the updates by wire, where software is in your car, and if you want to have sports steering on it, they can just upload it. You go to sleep at night, turn the car off, tell them you want to upload it. And a lot of manufacturers are going to that. And our students are going to start needing to understand computer programming and computer languages and how to interface the computer to the car.
It's a rolling computer is what you're telling me.
Yeah, it's a rolling computer. And somebody's gonna Google this, get me wrong, but I think there's over 200 individual computers on a Mercedes now. And they all talk to each other. Yeah.
Also why it's so difficult to buy a car right now, right? Because the shortage of chips. We got cars, we don't have the chips to so yeah, I think that's the thing that sometimes gets missed in terms of a lot of what have been thought of as traditionally technical, or in the old days, you talked about vocational programs, and how you may be in an office like we are right now, sitting in front of a computer, but people should not think they're any more high tech than a technician that is rolling around a car with that very same computer technology, but is repairing that very unique computer on wheels that is now an auto in today's terms. Hey, you brought it up, and I like to talk about it. So before we get to the future of where we're going, so we like to use this term ladder economics, laddering up. And so there's another piece of laddering, is that for us at Wake Tech, a lot of times, we have two different types of degree programs. So we talked about, in automotive, there's two degree programs, collision repair and automotive. We also have heavy equipment programs, and we'll talk about those at a later date. But for a lot of opportunity, there's so much opportunity, so much more opportunity with those amazing technical skills that keep growing and growing, and the need keeps growing. But a lot of times the very best managers out there are those who have the technical skills, which for many students may require them going beyond a 2-year degree to a 4-year degree. And in the past, you may have to do one and then the other. But now, through partnerships we have, you can go from an automotive systems into automotive management, essentially, degrees. And Wake Tech has uniquely sought out partners. Can you speak to that, Dave, just a little bit?
Yeah, we have two formal articulation agreements. One's with Northwood University, the other is with Weber State. And what happens, you finish your 2-year degree at Wake Tech, the final 2 years of your 4-year degree are online, or you can be seated. So Northwoods is in Michigan, but they'll allow all our students to go online to finish a 4-year degree. And a good point about, they can continue on working, finish up their 4-year degree while they're still, say the work-based learning, but they're still being paid. They're still progressing through the company. And a good thing I've talked with Northwoods and Weaver is that they don't require you to finish it in 2 years. They said most of the continuing adult education takes 4 to 5 years to finish the degree. So you can take the classes 1 or 2 at a time until you finish. But I say the first 2 years, they give the student credit for what they've had at Wake Tech. So that, for instance, 60 semester hours at Wake Tech, transfers to 60 semester hours with Weber State or with Northwoods. So a student going 4 years at Northwoods is the same as a student going 2 years at Wake Tech and 2 years at Northwoods.
I think, and if you go into the Hendrick Center for Automotive Excellence and you go up to the third floor, right there where the Advanced Auto Part Lounge is, where the students, what we call Auto Row, where the classrooms are for the different OEMs. But there is a Northwood University academic lab, which is named for Northwood thanks to a donor because of that connection. And, so just want to highlight that something that's unique about us and something that's unique about Wake Tech is we seek out these special partners. In this case, one in Michigan, another in Utah, not because we're trying to look outside of North Carolina, but we're trying to find the best opportunities for our students. And Northwood particularly is a place where when I talk to a lot of folks who are, dealer managers, many of them went through Northwood. So that's the opportunity, is to, because you have the great technical skill set, you can add on top of that, ladder on top of that, as we say, to move into those managerial opportunities as well. It doesn't have to be either or at Wake Tech. Well, we've talked, the future, and we've talked about, rolling computers, and we've talked about, the future is here. The future is now at Wake Tech. And if you see our new Hendrick Center for Automotive Excellence, please drive by it. And if you want a tour, please let us know. We'd love to have you walk through it. But you see that the future of automotive is here at Wake Tech. But, there's a unique future for automotive when we talk about autonomous vehicles, when we talk about electric. And electric is not something way down the road in the future. That future is here now as well. And I know that's an area where you've been a particular leader, Dave. And so where is that going for us? And what does that mean for Wake Tech? And what does that mean for the opportunities of students that are out there?
With the new Hendricks building, and we have four sub-bay areas downstairs, 2 are collision repair, 2 are automotive. But separate, we've actually installed 2 electric vehicle workstations with the lifts and the charging stations there and the special adapters to fit the electric vehicles to work on it. We're looking to evolve our last 6 bays into an electric vehicle, autonomous vehicle, or an innovative lab, if you want to call it that. We have our instructors that are going off for training to become the subject matter experts, but actually have a space for awareness, for training, for diagnostics. And we're going to grow into where, right now, I believe the percentage is 8% of all cars in the United States are electric. When you start looking or hybrids, is pushing 20%. Another 5 years, it'll probably be 60 or 70%. So we need to transition our training from sheer mechanical to the electric vehicles and get the awareness and become the front runners of innovation, as our students know what's coming in the future and what's here today, when they can safely work on high voltage, be exposed to it. And hopefully we'll be the first EV pathway for a community college with a 2-year degree.
Yeah. Well, and, and we're hearing more and more here in North Carolina and everywhere about the electric future. The growth of battery plants here with Toyota, the growth of VinFast and, companies like that you hadn't heard. There's the Teslas and the Rivians. But I've heard you say before that it's not just about the new names that you hear, like a VinFast, but it's also, what GM,
Right.
is doing in terms of electric. So this is not something that's new a few years out. This is something that's right here, right now.
Right. And give you your next podcast is the charging station
Yes.
portion of it, and Siemens that's here. And part of our automotive, we have a class that's just an introduction to electric vehicles, but we also talk about the charging stations and inverters and converters and how to safely connect and disconnect the car, and not actually repairing the charging stations, but understanding what it does, how it operates, the voltages, the amps, the watts, that good stuff. So part of it, I was talking about GM, is the infrastructure of the charging stations being throughout the United States and throughout the state is being developed as we speak and growing every day. I believe Duke is going to put 20,000 charging stations in North Carolina and Florida. And when they're there, think GM is just going to unleash a lot more electric vehicles. I think they're talking about 2025 and 2030, all their vehicles that they're going to produce are going to be electric or a form of a hybrid vehicle. So it's the development of the infrastructure. Once it's developed, the big players will put the cars out there. So the range anxiety, the battery technology changes every day as we speak, and they get more power in the battery and less charging time and being able to charge it faster. They have induction charging that's coming in the future. It's actually here, but the induction charging where you don't even have to plug it in and the vehicle charges itself. It just exponentially grows in technology in our field every year. And the heavy equipment, the same technology as in automotive, is being transcribed over to heavy equipment and collision. Like I said, the same way with the sensors. So we need to prepare our students today for what they're going to see out in the in the workforce today and tomorrow.
Well, and we're fortunate to have you here leading that preparation, because this was something I know, going back years ago, you were at the forefront of a future of what, was just talked about at that point, but it's really that future. It's not a tomorrow future, it's a today future, but it's going to keep accelerating and accelerating. And I love the way you'll throw out a little segue for us here, because we will have to have a future podcast about electric distribution, because Wake County is a unique place for electric distribution because of the Siemens facility in Wendell. And so, and I think there's a college in Wake County that has a partnership on apprenticeship with Siemens and is growing a new Wendell campus. Have you heard about that, Dave?
It's something there about a 4.0 or.
Yeah, that's a Wake Tech thing too. So that'd be a good subject for a future podcast. And another great employer partnership with Siemens. We just had the Siemens USA CEO with us here at Wake Tech. So, employer partnerships make the world go around at community colleges, because it's those opportunities. And, we live in a land of opportunity here in Wake County in terms of jobs, but what we want is for everyone to have a ladder to that opportunity. That's why I want to give again another special shout out to Advanced Auto Parts for their support for Wake County students coming out of high school for scholarships into programs, and how they're promoting that widely. And then all the employers, again, Hendrick and Rick Hendrick and his significant support, Capital Auto for their support, all the new vehicle dealers, including Leith and Crossroads, who have given additional support, Cox Automotive, Rick Gerlinger. I mean, the list just goes on and on. Exalta, who do I leave out there? Our CDK, gosh, there's so many. Yeah. That's where he gets in trouble. But again, it is those partners coming together, working with us, which helps make this not just a dream world of opportunity, but a realistic, as I like to say, ladder to opportunity. And Dave, do you think there's a better place to ladder to the automotive opportunities than Wake Tech right now?
I seriously don't. And then just the partnerships that we have and the opportunities for our students. We talked about growth, but there's positions for them, and it's all of them. Hendricks, Capital, Lee, they all said, Anderson, Independent Garage, bring us more. So there's a place for every student and for employment, so we can grow, and there'll be a pathway for a nice life for our students.
Yeah. They're kind of insatiable right now, which is great. That means there's just tons of opportunities. So if you're interested, go to waketech.edu, check out the amazing automotive programs and all the transportation programs in heavy equipment and all the areas that are uniquely available at Wake Tech. And our leader for all things transportation is a remarkable man, Dave Faber. Dave, we are so fortunate to have you here at Wake Tech and to lead what is just a great world of opportunity for students in our community. Thank you for all you're doing for us.
Thank you for all your support and everything you do for us. You make it happen.
All right. Well, thank you for everyone for tuning in today to the We Are Wake Tech podcast.
with the latest Wake Tech news. It's an exciting time to consider a career in the automotive industry. Wake Tech officially cut the ribbon on the new Hendrick Center for Automotive Excellence at the Scott Northern Wake campus. Governor Cooper and Mr. Rick Hendrick joined industry leaders in celebrating the opening of the new state-of-the-art facility. The Hendrick Center will allow Wake Tech to serve as many as 500 students every year in automotive systems and collision repair. Mr. Hendrick told the crowd that there are currently about 1,200 automotive job openings in our state. Hundreds of students and their families came to Wake Tech for the college's first in-person open house since the start of the pandemic. Guests were invited to tour the Scott Northern Wake campus and the RTP campus in Morrisville. They also attended sessions on a variety of topics from financial aid to programs of study. There are new opportunities for Wake Tech graduates to continue on to pursue a bachelor's degree. The college has signed new articulation agreements with Holy Cross University and Southern New Hampshire University. 5 Wake Tech business students took top honors at Phi Beta Lambda's State Leadership Conference in Charlotte. Phi Beta Lambda is the national academic organization for business and leadership. The students will go on to compete at the national conference in Chicago in June. Local businesses came to recruit Wake Tech students at a recent Skilled Trades career fair. 35 employers connected with students for high-paying jobs in electrical, welding, plumbing, HVAC, and building automation. The event took place in the Center for Building Technologies on the Southern Wake campus. A unique opportunity for students in Wake Tech's civil engineering, geomatics, and construction management programs. They got a first-hand look at the Triangle Expressway construction site near the Southern Wake campus. It was a great way for them to learn about all the engineering and construction roles that are needed to complete a large-scale road construction project. And finally, going once, going twice, sold. Wake Tech's inaugural Auctioneer Academy held its first student auction at the Beltline Education Center. Students auctioned off donated items and raised more than $2,000 for Wake Tech Foundation scholarships. The Auctioneer Academy is one of only 3 in the state, and it prepares students to take the licensure exam. Wake Tech is currently accepting applications for degree programs for the fall. Visit waketech.edu/apply and ignite your future today.
Hi, my name is Deval Keith Davis. I'm an instructor over at Wake Tech. They partnered up with the YMCA to offer a class to give basic instructions on landscaping. And it's my job to help you understand some of the basic needs that your yard needs for growth for the season. One of the first stages in getting the yard up to par for the summer is coming out of the winter months. You have a lot of debris that builds up in your yard, and a lot of people don't go out and clean up the yard like they need to with the leaves, the pine straw. So your yard needs to be raked real clean, and a lot of the debris needs to be removed so you can have a good clean yard to start out fresh. One of the second things that you can do coming into the summer is prepare your beds to be weed free. As you just seen, the beds that had weeds in it that haven't been properly taken care of, so we need to spray them to kill them out so the beds will look in good shape. As you see, the bed that has been rounded up and weeded, the grass is dying, and we need to cover this after the grass is dead so the bed will have a good edge and a good lining, so you see the difference in the two. One of the next steps that you can do to prevent and help yourself during the summer is use one of these 3 products, because right now weeds are going to be prominent in your yard. You're going to get your dandelions, your chickweed, and using these products, they help you out because they're easy applicators. You just hook it up onto your hose, you walk and spray. Long as you cover your whole yard, this bottle right here covers about 1,500 square feet, and it treats over 250 weeds that we have in North Carolina. Another product, if you have insects and things at your house, you can actually use this. This is another hose application. It treats insects, ants, worms, fleas, anything that's going to be detrimental to the growth of your grass and anything that'll creep into your house. And it's just an insect control. And you have products that help you kill weeds in your yard and kill some of the crabgrass that might be coming from some of your neighbors' yards. So these products are easily applicable by just hooking them up to your hose and just walking and spraying, and it'll keep your yard weed-free for a long time during the summer. Coming out of the winter months, one of the things that you want to do is try to get your yard looking the best. Getting out and doing what we just described with some of the easy steps will help you maintain a good, plush yard. Enjoy yourself, do what you can. If you don't know what to do, consult with some of your professionals and they'll give you some tips and some ideas to try to get you on the right path. Enjoy yourself in your yard and hope that you have a good time enjoying a better lawn with these tips.
Thank you for listening to the We Are Wake Tech podcast. Join us next month for more insightful conversations about the programs and people of Wake Tech and how the college changes lives every day. Be sure to subscribe to your favorite podcast app to have each episode delivered right to your computer or mobile device. For more, find us at podcast.waketech.edu. To learn more about Wake Tech's exceptional educational opportunities, visit waketech.edu.